Hey everybody, welcome back to the Build Show. Steve Basic, architect here. We just finished a meeting with the Historic Commission. So the Historic Commission here in this town, their sole purpose is to ensure that we're meeting the historic guidelines when we work within one of their historic districts. In New England, this is a pretty common occurrence in a lot of these older towns that kind of want to preserve that look and feel of this quintessential New England town. So one of the things that we had to do, and you can see behind me here, we had to actually mock up the addition. So the Historic Commission, when we had our meeting here this morning, they could get a feel for the size and the scale of the addition that we're putting on. So you can see we have the original historic home here that we're going to totally gut and revamp. But we have the ridge and the mass of that addition that we're going to be putting on here by Shoreline Buildings doing these beautiful little frames here so that the Historic Commission can understand exactly what we're trying to do. So as we come through here, this section here is going to get removed down to the foundation. We got a whole bunch of new work going here, but then we also have this second addition here. You can see there's also that second set of A-frames here. And what we're showing here, this is actually the two-car garage that is going to be front-loaded from the other side. But again, the Historic Commission wanted to get a sense of the massing of these structures before they approve our application to then go to the building department for the building permit to actually build this. We have to go through the Historic Commission and get that signed off. So anyways, I thought it would be really neat for you to see, some of the things that we have to go through before we even can get to applying for that building permit. Let's jump back to the studio. I'll bring up some of the drawings and you'll get a really good sense of what we're trying to do here as far as the additions and that, to take this historic structure and preserve it, but also set it up for the next 100 years. So I'll see you back at the studio.
Hey everybody, hopefully you enjoyed that. First time we ever had to build a full-scale outline of the addition that we were going to do, but I kind of understand why they wanted it done, and it was a big help. Since I shot that video, we have been approved to move forward on the project by the Historic Commission. So we're over that hurdle. It all went very well, but got my friend Big Red here. Let's dive into the drawings and let's take a look at what we got. All right, so threw down a couple elevations here. I think this is the best way to explain it. These are the outlines that you saw. So you can see this is the front elevation and this is the rear elevation. And you got to remember, the Historic Commission, all they care about is what they can see from the street. So this is actually sitting on somewhat of a corner lot. This front elevation is here and the house sits there. So when you're looking at it from the street, you see this, and when you're looking at it from the street as it goes around the property, you see the side elevation. So we kind of had the double whammy on this project. It wasn't a traditional 90-degree perpendicular to the street. The street actually wrapped around the property, so wreaked a little bit more havoc than we're accustomed to on these types, but not a problem. So you can see, here's that original house. You can see the gable end structure there. It has the porch roof here and some porch posts. But this is that rising line here. So this, actually the line goes up like that, right? This is all new. And this is existing on this side. And you can see in the new, there were a couple things that we intended to do. This is where that A-frame was here that you saw, and the other one was right here that Taylor from Shoreline built for us. to show that massing of the addition there. But you can see in the addition a couple things. One, we matched the eave line of the house here. You can see that. But then we popped up a dormer here. And the dormer, that gives us a little bit of headroom. One of the problems with these old New England houses is that they're vertically challenged. There's little to no headroom in a lot of the spaces. When I say little to none, it might be a 7'4", 7'8" second floor ceiling. So we're trying to jump that up a little bit, but we want to be true to the nature of the existing house. And the Historic Commission, what they want to see is they want to see an addition that reflects some of the concepts or partie of the original house, the idea, but also reflects the idea that it is in fact an addition, and it looks like it. I mean, one of the things about New England homes when you drive through, especially the countryside, is you see a bunch of houses that look like they've had 4 or 5 additions put on. And over time, you built a house and you had a child, and so you put an addition on, you had another child, you put another addition on, and then you put another room on. So you get these old farmhouses that have these subsequent additions, and you can kind of see the historic path of the house's evolution, if you will. So we're trying to be somewhat true to this, but that doesn't mean mimic it. It just means be true to it in concept. So things like we align that line with the height, so we get relatively the same scale across both additions, both the addition and the existing. Notice here that I intentionally have some negative space. It's a porch that goes the full width of the addition. There's a couple sliders there that you can see from the side yard, and that negative space is a response to the negative space that's created over here in the porch. So that porch gets mimicked, and we didn't put the rails in because we're less than the 30 inches required, but more importantly is we're trying to be a little bit different. So again, it's playing off the original concept, but you can also see here with the column, and this was the Historic Commission, they didn't even want us to mimic these columns here. These are a 4.5 inch turned column, and we're going to move to a 7 inch square column, and that is to kind of give the addition its own identity, but still pay some homage back to the existing structure by having that negative space. You can see that the window 2/2 has gotten carried through on all the windows, and all the trim and moldings, the eave trim, all of that will match. The other thing that we did here was we changed and went to a texture difference between these two walls. So the bottom will be the typical wood lap siding that is on the existing house here. But up here, we moved to a wooden shake detail to change that texture. And we carried that roof across. You can see that that dormer doesn't go quite to the end. It stops about 18 inches short. And then we have a roof that comes across here. So you're going to get that color roof going across there. So we'll get a strong separation between this lower section and the upper section, and that will be further reinforced by the texture difference of the shake versus the lap siding. Moving to the other side, you can see this side here is actually this side of the building. So looking down that side, we have the existing on this side and the proposed on this side. And here we took a slightly different tact. We built a bunch of utility spaces. We have mudroom, powder room, laundry room, a small portion of the kitchen, all in this connector piece that goes out to what is a larger structure, which in the days of our history, you might have seen these longer structures, utility structures. They would reach out, and this would be the barn. But we know that today's barn is the garage. We traded in our horses for horsepower. And so we have the garage there. The garage will be that traditional lap siding. We have that square column here again with that negative space. So we have a small porch there that gets you into the mudroom from the driveway. And that negative space, again, you can see that negative space is evident here with that porch. So all this negative space is speaking to each other. And we have that long connector taking you out to that barn-like garage, if you will. And again, all the moldings, corner boards, all of that stuff is going to match the existing. The 2/2 windows are also carried over here. So we are going to make a couple changes in the windows over there. So we're actually going to take a couple windows out of a section of the house we're going to demolish and reuse those over there. So that'll carry that cohesiveness in the existing structure, and then the new structure will have new windows, etc. And there you have it. That's our plan. The Historic Commission liked it, and a few minor tweaks. Their comments were to actually change that column and make sure that we keep this roof down about 18 inches from the peak of that roof. One, to maintain the hierarchy of the existing roof, but to give that the feel that it was an addition and added on to this structure and not part of that primary structure. So, but yeah, other than that, there you have it. So stay tuned as we move forward. We're going to go into drawing development and get this one started here very shortly. So we can look at a whole bunch of subsequent videos on what we're doing out there. So I look forward to that. All right. So that's the end. Put Big Red to bed. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Went through and talked a little bit about putting together a Historic Commission presentation and running it through. You got to see what we did out at the job site. I know a lot of people come down on commissions like Conservation Commission and Historic Commission, and there's all kinds of controls that different towns put on different projects and types of projects, but they all have a job to do, and most of them I find they're pretty welcoming. If you don't go in there as a bully, you don't get treated like a bully. You go in there with a cool head and some good thoughts, and usually they're well received, maybe a little refinement here and there, but overall our original intent was stood tall, and we had to make a few minor adjustments, but that's all they were, and we got approval. So thank you to the Historic Commission, and there is something nice about it when you drive through one of these towns that has a strong Historic Commission. It makes you feel good about New England when you're driving through these towns. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, well, there's a whole library of videos out there on the Build Show Network, tons of them. We got all kinds of contributors: Matt, Jake, Brent, Wade, Zach, Drywall Shorty, Mechanical Hub, Design Build Doug. We're all out there. Go watch our videos. Science says you got to watch them 7 times to get all of the information. So if you're looking for more from me, you can find me on Instagram, Steve Basic Architect, and I am one of the co-hosts with Peter and Jake on the Unbuild It podcast. So go check that out. We talk about all kinds of things building. So until next time, long live our buildings.